Now we begin on the Daily Monitor in Uganda this morning and see what we can find over here. It says here, MPs return death penalty for gays. It says punishment under the act, a person found culpable of promoting homosexuality faces 20 years imprisonment. There are also punishments for journalists, editors, film directors, and corporate entities that promote homosexuality. It's looking really, really scary in Uganda for the LGBTQ community. You can find more of that on pages 4 and 5 this morning on the Daily Monitor. Also, government to recruit 78,000 primary school teachers on page 2. Uganda on high alert over Marburg outbreak in Tanzania. And family dispute cited in missing nursery girl case. Also, cabinet terminates vehicle inspection deal. I think these are the ones that we can share, the only big ones on the screen this morning. But of course, the major story in Uganda this morning is MPs return death penalty for gays. Of course, I'm sure we should have a conversation on that sometime this week.
That's right. Anyway, let's move on now to another newspaper this morning. Let's take you away from Uganda to Namibia. That's where we're going to this morning. The front page there has that story. Police unleash force on unemployed youth. Young people say freedom is a scam. So anyway, if you take a look at that picture there, like we did mention, Osalge, we mentioned that there is ongoing mass protest scattered in different parts of Africa. And News Central, being Africa First, we will continue to report and let you in on where these things are happening. Now, unemployed Walvis Bay residents participating in Namibia Economic Freedom Fighters organized national unemployment protest on Independence Day. So I hope you do know that the EFF is equally spread in different parts of Africa as well, like it is in Namibia. And you can see the pictures on the front page there. What are they asking for? We want jobs. The youth in Windhoek yesterday turned up in numbers to protest against unemployment and to demand jobs rather than celebrate Independence Day. It was Independence Day yesterday for Namibia, and we'll be talking about that extensively this hour as soon as we're done with the papers as well. Under arrest, activist Michael Musheleko and the others, as well as Popular Democratic Movement Member of Parliament yesterday, protested in Windhoek. The police later arrested and detained 3 of them. Anyway, let's leave that story. Let's go to another one. Hungry people grab food at independence celebration. It was a sight to behold, Africa. I mean, in Namibia, celebrating the independence, and it was marred not by the fact that a lot of people just showed up, but for the fact that it turned out to be something that you wouldn't want to see. Fights, scruffles, and likes. For what? For food. For food. It's worrisome. But that's all I can take on Namibia. There's so much you could read at the top and so on. But let's take it from here.
All right, let's go to Nigeria now and see what's on the This Day newspapers this morning. Very interesting stories, of course. I think one of the biggest court cases in Nigeria, or what looks like it might be one of the biggest court cases in Nigeria's history, is coming up. And of course, it says there, Obi, Atiku, and 2 others won tribunal to void Tinubu's declaration as president-elect. Declare me winner of presidential election, Obi tells tribunal, says Tinubu Shetima not qualified to be on ballot. And very interesting claims. I did, rush through the petition yesterday. Didn't get time to really go, dig into it. But, pretty interesting claims, concerning, allegations of drug charges, and of course forfeiture of funds in the United States. The time that the vice presidential candidate of the APC, or vice presidential candidate of the APC, of course was still contesting as senator, on the 14th, and then of course picked up the vice presidential ticket also, while still holding on to the senatorial ticket. So it was of course pretty interesting claims once again, and I'm sure that would expand on all of them. And of course the FCT 25% controversy once again. He seeks president-elect's disqualification on account of his U.S. drug-related forfeitures, accuses INEC of suppressing votes in 18,000 polling units, and refusal to present forms EC8A, EC8B in Rivers for inspection. We can also find here, of course, the reaction of Chimaroke Namani to his losing the senatorial election. Peter Obi, of course, has eventually responded to him, saying, "I am opposite of what you're saying about me." Obi replies Namani, who he described as his respected senior brother, as always. Post-Monetary Policy Committee meeting, media briefing you can find there. And, of course, Tinubu, physical and verbal assaults during the March 18th governorship and state assembly elections, unacceptable. Calls for reconciliation, says ethnic slurs capable of creating needless mischaracterization. We can also find the CBN governor in the news this morning, says Emefiele apologizes for deluge of online transactions failure on page 6. And President Buhari says, "I am happy Nigerians now realize their voting power." Says, I told voters to take money, vote according to their conscience. Hints he is eager to retire home and tend to his over 300 animals. Remove fuel subsidy before leaving, U.S. envoy tells or advises president. These are the stories on the This Day newspapers this morning.
And talking about fuel subsidy, I think the president-elect in one of his campaigns had made mention that as soon as he ascends and starts, that's one thing he is going to actually take out. Well, let's move away from that and let's take a look at our final paper for this hour, and we're going straight to The Nation. The Nation is one paper we're going to take a look at. The Nation is in Nigeria. Declare me winner or cancel election, Obi urges tribunal. You can read that. LP files 3 grounds petition. Page 3 has that story. Digital economy operators exempted from 5% excise duty. Wike tackles Amechi for linking INEC chair to him. Page 7 and page 3 respectively have the stories. You also have President-elect. Election is over. It's time for healing. Tinubu decries ethnic politics and violence. Washington Post rates polls high in spite of hitches. So you find that in the story right here inside of The Nation. Washington Post rates high, polls high in spite of hitches. And then there's this statement here on the front page. I am particularly pained by cases of ethnic slurs, which are capable of creating needless mischaracterization reported in some locations. A statement made by the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then you have that picture there. Of course, this picture shows the current governor of Lagos State getting back to work. And one area he went to yesterday was in Yaba to actually take a look at the rail and also begin to ensure that construction is indeed done. The terminals are indeed ready so that Nigerians, especially Lagosians, can enjoy proper commuting from one place to the other. Well, that's all we're going to take. That's all we have on the front pages of the papers on a Wednesday morning. It's bright and early. Our time check here is 7:20 a.m. West African time. We know that it's quite different wherever you are, in Zimbabwe, in Mali, in Kenya, in South Africa, in Mozambique, and in Namibia. When we come back, we'll bring you our top stories, find out where we're going to after this break.